Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and today's build and play guide is going to be on the Enterprise. This is in the Stars and the Stripes bundle deal diddly thingy doodler, and will only be there for the next few days. But I've seen a lot more of these lately, and just to say before the start of the video, I do not consider myself an aircraft carrier expert. This is for beginners just getting into it. And somebody asked for this. So definitely, uh, use the information I give you. But just remember, I am not a professional. That being said, let's take a look at Captain Picard. He is the one that came up with this ship for this ship. We are using Yamaguchi and Ernest King. I always use a um, boost to carriers for the most part to help keep other carriers off my back. And it helps you stay in the fight longer. Um, for our skills, we're using No Fly Zone, a Dark Silhouette, Out of Sight, and his unique ability is Enrage. And um, it actually does help because these these dive bombers, these AP dive bombers, don't have the world's best accuracy, so that would definitely help. Otherwise, you could go with heavy consequences as well because compared to most AP bombs, these don't have the world's best penetration, believe it or not, um, but still not bad. And corkscrew for our uh, legendary trait. Upgrades. We are using flight control for the restore, AA mods in the second slot, and in the third slot, concealment as always. And in the last slot we're taking air group 3 mod 3. And for your bombs, so you have AP bombs instead of HE bombs, okay? A few things for this ship. The restoration time for American carrier seems to be pretty good. These AP bombs, you drop 9 of them at a time, but they're not super accurate. Mostly, kind of, for me, dropping them on different heights, that's going to be up to you to figure out what you want to do, but dropping them lower will definitely make them more accurate. Um, and you will get a fair amount of citadels with them. And these do have 3,300 health on your planes, so not terrible, along with evasive maneuvers as your consumable and patrol fighters. Same thing with your torpedoes. The only difference is you on your torpedoes, a little less health, kind of like a American thing. Um, the torpedoes are not very quick. I believe these are 44. We'll take a look at that here in a second. You drop 3 torpedoes per drop, and they're pretty slow. They're not too bad to aim, but man, the torpedo speeds on carriers always get me. And these are even slower than the Independence, I do believe. So again, torpedoes for me generally aren't the way I go on American carriers. I generally go with the bombs, and this is no different. Also, we're gonna take these Enterprise skin off and put the old one back on and give her classic look. This is the Enterprise, dang it. Most decorated ship in World War II for the U.S. Navy. We're gonna go ahead and go survivability, 51,000 health. Listen, you're it's a carrier. You get spotted, it's gonna be a rough go. Your aircraft, we already talked about for the most part, but you can see the aircraft restoration times at 27 seconds. That's pretty decent for Americans. And you can see they have a uh, pretty long a flight range at 38 kilometers and 36. Um, and you can see the torpedo speed is 44 knots on the torpedo bombs. You do have some secondaries, 8 of them, but they're not very effective. AA defense with the boost that we're giving it, pretty darn good. You will shred a lot of planes with this thing if a carrier decides to come at you. Um, and just the way it is, it will shred planes. Maneuverability, 32 knots, a terrible turning circle, and also really bad concealment. You want to tuck this thing behind islands when you get the opportunity. Stats, you can see, I played it when it came out a little bit. Uh, I wouldn't consider myself the best carrier player, especially back then. I'm getting better now. And it's definitely I'm better with it now. And you'll see the match that I do. And I actually I think I went into it one time, one match, and you'll see in the beginning I actually struggle in it. But armor, it's a carrier. It really, if you're spotted, it's gonna be rough, right? So here is your citadel, which is actually low for a carrier. But again, I mean, you don't want to be spotted in this thing. As we start the match, it's disclaimer time. This is a beginner's video meant to help people new to the ship or new to the game. This is not meant for professional gamers that know everything there is to know about everything in the universe. There are multiple ways to play and build this ship, and I am an above average player, not the world's best. I make mistakes. You may see one in this match. You didn't come here for pronunciations. I'm as good as anybody at slaughtering beautiful languages all the time. With that out of the way, we are on two brothers. And you can see I used the autopilot function to put myself up against this back island. And I do this a lot where I pull myself up to islands, get myself close to the fight. We also drop planes here, fighter planes here, because to try to get the carrier off guard and try to get down a bunch of them. Also, we're going to let teammates know we spotted a destroyer for them, and we're going to try to start dropping. Now, very quickly, guys. Right away in the beginning of the match, my first 4 or 5 minutes are going to be awful. This was I believe, the first time getting back into it, and you're going to see I'm trying to get used to it again. That bomb drop was atrocious, but you can also see we shot down 9 planes with dropping our fighter planes where we did to take down the enemy Enterprises planes, and he's going to stay away from that area the rest of the match. I don't know if I'm actually going to shoot down any more planes, but you can see how handy they are and kind of keep them away from the middle of the map. The reason for that is if he spots me there, people are going to charge, obviously, and try to get to me because I'm in a vulnerable spot if somebody sneaks up. So, that being said, guys, I do put myself really close to the battle behind islands. Why is that? There's a few reasons to that. Not only is it quicker to get my aircraft into the battle, or aircraft into the battle, and closer and get more drops off, but a lot of times if you get yourself close, you can get multiple drops on people. And that's what you're going to see. The only issue with that is sometimes you don't have the ability to drop planes like I have been doing. You can see these guys are close enough now where I don't really have the time to drop planes and then come back on. Now, like I said, be very clear. Enterprise, I hadn't played in a while since it came out. I'm doing this because you guys asked for it. I had a few people ask for Enterprise. And I did actually get it. Now, I'm a little bit late getting it out to you guys, but I did, in fact, get it. Now, another note, too. Enterprise is not... I'm not as big on it as everybody else, right? I know it has AP bombs, and AP bombs are well-liked in the game for carriers. These don't seem to be as accurate as other ones. Also, I know I'm dropping them too high for accuracy. I understand that, but even with that, the dispersion on them seems pretty bad. But like I said, don't consider myself a carrier pro. That's just my opinion. And another thing I'm not huge on with Enterprise. I'm sure if you're a damage hunter as a carrier, if you're going to go after battleships, it's a great carrier. But if you really want to affect the game, like how I do, and I like to go after destroyers, this thing is not good at getting rid of destroyers. You're gonna get no damage on destroyers from these AP bombs. Also, you can see I'm dropping carriers not moving, so you can drop them ways back. You don't have to. You don't actually have to drop close to the carrier and lose more planes than you don't need to. Even though Enterprise does have a pretty good restoration time, especially um, if you consider that it's an American carrier, right? So now we're gonna try to help this left flank. They are getting a little bit overwhelmed here, and we're gonna go ahead and get a little bit. We're gonna wait a little bit longer. Then you can see we hit 5 out of our 9 bombs, right? So even basically getting the entire ship in the circle, we're still missing some. And that's the one thing I have an issue with. Can they do damage? Is this a good, if you're down the road damage hunting? Absolutely, you can get high numbers in Enterprise. Can you change the outcome of the game drastically as much as you can some other carriers? In my opinion, no, because you're limited on what you can take out, right? It's battleships and cruisers. You're not really that effective against the destroyers. Now, this match, you're going to see there's only one destroyer against us, so not a big deal, especially being it's a destroyer that gets spotted all the time. You know, in black, that's normally a destroyer shooting like crazy. As you can see, we are lining up again here on the Enterprise as well. We don't want to get too close. We know that Enterprise has good AA. So if we don't need to, we can let them planes drop, right? They might take a while to get there. They're slow torps, but they will get there eventually. In fact, we're going to go ahead and drop AP bombs here, as you're going to see, on Ganizano. I believe this is Ganizano, and we're going to actually kill him before our torps even get to the carrier. These slow torps on these American or on carriers always get to me. I know it's crazy. As now we're gonna start to focus more on these battleships back here, and in the meantime, you're gonna see I actually forget about the left flank. Okay, that's going to come back to bite me a little bit. And we've had a slow start, but you can see I'm starting to pick it up now. I'm starting to do a little bit more and being a little bit more effective. I definitely, in my opinion, I would wait as long as you can on these AP bombs to drop them, because I just don't think they're super accurate, which is weird to say about an American ship, that there's accuracy problems, but it is true. Right, and we're gonna drop on the battleship again here with the torpedoes. We get all 3 to hit, and we're gonna drop on this carrier, which this carrier has not moved at all. So I'm trying to cause some flooding and get back to it. Now, one thing I do a lot is, and you're gonna see here later, is when I'm using torpedo bombers, I'll use them a certain way, and I want to showcase that here in a little bit. As you can see, we're starting to actually do some damage, and this is what I'm talking about. I started focusing on the carrier and battleships, right? Not destroyers. Now look, I'm starting to get more damage, right? That doesn't mean that it's the greatest thing ever. It just is I don't know. I love Enterprise's history in real life, so I was partial to this thing. I don't like it as much as everybody else does. I'm not saying it's a bad carrier, it just doesn't fit my style very well. As you can see, we are now hitting the enemy aircraft carrier. You see, this is actually a pretty close fight. Now, you guys, I've talked about some of my weaknesses. One of them is map awareness. And being in the position on the map that I am, I should be super aware that our left flank is falling apart. And one thing I should say as a carrier is if you notice a flank is starting to struggle, you should, if you can, try to help them out and balance it back out. Now, to our left flank's credit, they have held off for a while. It's not like they crumbled in the first 2 minutes. They did actually get hold down the fort a little bit here. Now you're going to see me start to get a lot closer with my torpedoes here to go ahead and get them going. Now this is one of the tactics I use. They're going to be dodging my first set, right? And a lot of times I'll look back around and see if I can come hit them again. I was too close that time, and you're going to see me make the adjustment here now as we are starting to work on the other battleship who also is low health. As you can see, I've decided to come over and help this flank now. We're going to take a couple AP bombs. But the next time you see me drop the torpedoes, you're going to see me make that adjustment. And I'm going to go back to what I do a lot with torpedoes. I notice the flank is dying, and it's time to get the heck out of here. And it might be too late, obviously. And we're going to head over here. Try to at least finish off one of these battleships to help out. And as you can see here, we are going to focus down on, I believe this was, as we wait till the last second, this was Sinop. Yeah, it is Sinop. And you can see we're getting pretty decent results, although he did not die. This poor Sinop had not much he could do. And sometimes as a carrier, I feel bad because there's not many consequences for being a complete jerk. Unless it's a destroyer, I don't try to destroyer or aircraft carrier. I know it's probably not the smart way to go, but sometimes I catch myself spreading the love, so I'm not being that carrier player that's just a troll to one person. Because that poor Sinop, he probably, to be honest, he might not get back in Sinop again. You know, he's going up against a Tier 7 aircraft carrier. It's not like Sinop is a Georgia or New Jersey with AA, right? So, again, we're going to come back down. I'm trying to figure out where that destroyer is, by the way. And now you're going to see me make the adjustment. It's going to be a better adjustment with these torpedoes. Especially later in the match when AA is worn down on ships and stuff. We're going to go ahead and make him dodge our torps. And while he's dodging these torps, we put him out pretty far. So he's got a while to fight these things. And I'm going to wrap myself back around to drop him again. And had I got a flood on the first set, a lot of people will damage con that flood, and you'd be able to get a second set off, right? So that would be the way I would use these bombs more than likely. And now we have waited too long to move, and we have ourselves a problem here. We have the black is now after me, and what we're going to do is we're not, I mean, I am trying to kill him, but we know that the odds of doing that aren't very good. We're just going to distract him so we can get away, really, is what we're doing. And you're going to see me start to try to make him turn away from driving straight at me, so it gives us more time to get away. And we're trying to save our life here, because this is a terrible position to be in as a carrier. And going to ask for help because I'm a moron. And that's really all it is. I don't have a good excuse for that. That's a daily dumb Dave moment, just sitting there when the other flank dies. But again, odds of us actually hitting them with torps are not good, right? We know that. It's pretty easy to juke these torps. But if we keep making him turn all the time and shift, he's going to lose speed. We're going to get around this corner and we're going to be safe. Also, if we do get a hit on him, it resets the cap. As you can see, we're in AP bombers now, and that's what we're going to focus on. I want you to pay attention to how little a damage we actually do to this guy with the AP bombs, right? As you're going to see, he's going to start to try to get out of the way. We're going to drop bombs and a pretty good aim on him, too. And we only hit one of them, but because of splash damage, I do believe we got 3 defends on him. So we're gonna keep him from taking the cap, and we're just trying to prolong because we know the match is getting close to the end here, and so we're gonna go ahead and, even though he's dropping smoke, we're gonna try to guess. Even though his AA was going off, we're gonna know where he kind of is, and here we're gonna go ahead and drop again, and again we're gonna stop him from getting the cap. We're just being obnoxious. Even on both them drops, I think we only got like 1,000 damage. Wasn't necessarily about the damage, it's preventing him from capping and trying to distract him so we can get away because we were dumb. But this was a kind of a good showcase of the pros and cons of this ship. I feel anyway. For me, I'm not no expert carrier player, but you can see me do some dumb things and some good things. You can see, even having put out a lot of fighters in this match, I didn't really get a chance to get around a lot of the enemy Enterprise's planes down, because once he realized I was holding down the middle of the map, he kind of left that alone. As you can see, we're going to go ahead and drop on this battleship. We're going to try to do the same thing where we drop and then wrap around while he's busy dodging our first set, right? You know, they're generally going to eat one always from that first set. But as you can see, the time is actually running out, and I was going to try to drop again, but we didn't have enough time. But honestly, not a bad game. I didn't affect it as much as like you guys saw in the Independence video where I took out the destroyers, but top of leaderboard, helping our team win this match. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you folks next time.